In this video, we're going to teach you 5 tips on how to get a response, get a conversation and rapport going with an influencer or someone on social media or on the internet that you actually want to talk to and collaborate with, or just get a conversation going rather than no response. Now, I think there's a lot of people who want to pitch or get into contact with them. How do I know? Well, a good amount of people try and contact me. Mostly it's spam or just people asking random questions, or sometimes wanting random conversations. But I've been on the other end of that, and I've seen a lot of people do it poorly. And so I want to give 5 tips on that. Now, first and foremost, there is a spectrum of celebrity. So any A-list celebrity, you're just not going to get in the door. Anyone with 1 million plus followers on something like Instagram, you're probably not even going to get read. So that's a different issue, and that's not the purpose of this video. I'm talking more micro influencers who still get tons and tons of people trying to pitch them or get something out of them, and they do usually have a higher chance of reading your messages, but the issue is actually getting response and getting some rapport. So first and foremost, tip number 1 is to have a good goal and see if there's anything of value that the other person would want. And I think the core of that is empathy. Now, some of these tips may seem common sense. That's the big reaction that everyone tends to give. But usually, the truth is most people don't follow common sense, and they really suck at pitching. So empathy actually is not so common sense, because a lot of people don't even consider it. Instead, they go into a pitch by saying, hey, this is what I want. Me, 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 me. The other person's like, well, why should I care what you want? Me, 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 me. I care what I want. So if both people are being selfish, then neither one is going to get anywhere, because they don't care what you want. Okay, you want to have a conversation. Why does the other person? So I think that's the first one. For me, I'm trying to grow a business, grow a personal brand, and this is really just a hobby for me right now. And I have a few small affiliate products I promote. So for me, I try and answer and respond to most people if they're positive, and they try and reach out. And so because of that, that may be easier. But for more competitive people, and even for me, because there's a lot where I don't respond, it's usually because they are trying to pitch something in the wrong way, and they're focused on what they themselves can get out of it, which in various cases I still help them out with, and I still help them solve an issue. But as you climb up that influencer hierarchy, even as I get more busy, that's going to be harder to do, because why should I, or why should another person spend 35 minutes out of their day to respond to a hate comment, to respond to a hate DM, or someone attacking me personally? Like, think about that. Why would they want to continue that? I had a guy who was like, hey, I found you, and let's have a conversation. And after like barely any time, he blew up at me because I didn't respond. And that was a clear sign that this guy was an amateur. And that leads us to number 2. Understand the basics of internet etiquette and internet messaging. If someone doesn't reply to you in 2 hours or 2 minutes or even 2 days, that doesn't mean that they read it immediately and they hate you, and they chose to exclude you, or they're anything malicious. Maybe they were just busy. Maybe they have tons of other things going on. I learned this probably 15 years ago when the internet first started getting going, and I was on AOL Instant Messenger, and I would get upset when people wouldn't respond to me. But as I matured a little bit, I realized, oh man, they're busy, they can't respond. But with a lot of the younger generation, I think they're learning that for the first time. And although to me it's like very basic, a lot of them will just blow up if you don't respond. And so you have to understand that a lot of people are not going to respond to you. So that's one of the first signs that, okay, this person is maybe unstable, immature, doesn't really understand what they're doing. If they just blow up at you or they get very upset. And some of them, there's one person, he flipped the script. At first he was very nice to me, and all of a sudden he was like hurling personal insults at me. So that's another not just a internet etiquette, but just general etiquette thing. Like, if something doesn't happen your way, if someone doesn't respond, that doesn't mean you flip your script and flip everything you claim and, all of a sudden start insulting someone that you claim to admire. So that's another thing. The third thing is having a professional and grammatical sentence structure. Those things really make you come off more professional, more credible, and like, especially if you're pitching for something, like to be on a podcast, be on my podcast show, be on my YouTube channel. I've pitched a lot of people, and that's how I've gotten a lot of guests. Good grammar and reviewing what you read and reading your pitch over again, that makes a huge difference. It separates you from, oh, this guy casually wrote this. It's full of obvious grammatical mistakes, like using the letter U instead of Y-O-U. It's like, okay, this guy, and I've seen people do that. If you use U, the letter U rather than Y-O-U, it puts you in the bucket of, this guy's probably 18 or younger, maybe 21 or younger. He didn't spend much time at all to write this. He's not really taking this seriously, putting much value into it. So why should the other person? And so that's another thing. And you'd be surprised. Number 4, make sure you have good alignment of intentions. So if you're pitching someone, understand what they may want and what they may not want. I had a girl, and I was like, how can I help you? How can I help you? And she just kept asking, like trying to continue a conversation, and I eventually sussed out that she was just trying to hit on me or something. And while that was I on some level, like, okay, I don't want to be mean, that's that. It was also kind of just a waste of time for me, because I was like, what's going on here? Like, can I help you? Like, I'm trying to help with a personal development thing. And it was basically an anonymous person, no face, no name. And if you was to see from my perspective, it was just very strange. And here I am trying to grow my personal brand, and I don't like wasting time. So unfortunately, it was like 20, 30 minutes of just wasted time. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, how can I help you with personal development? Oh, you want help with this? Oh, how was your day? How are you doing? And it was just like, probably really it was only 10 minutes wasted, because I sussed it out pretty quickly. And that's something that you have to really, get in your head. Like, and so from then on out, I made it more clear with my Instagram profile. Hey, this is a business/personal brand account. And, that would hopefully help filter out random people with no name or face who are just trying to get a conversation going and hit on me, but do it in the most indirect way by asking about my day. I'm sure, there's worse things in the world than wasting 10 minutes of your time. And then the fifth tip, and maybe the most important tip when pitching, and this is something that's landed me a lot of guests. If you've seen, I've written, I have a podcast. Look at some of the guests on the show. Some of them are fairly bigger names. We have Timothy Chantarangsu, formerly De La Ghetto, one of the OG greatest YouTubers of all time, and a lot of other guests. I've had Matthew Polly, author of the Bruce Lee biography, on my show. And as I've pitched these people, as I've gotten to know them, and as I've got them as guests, I think as I reflect, one of the things that really, if beyond anything else, when you really pitch them, it's really about value. So much so that you can make mistakes in some of those other areas to a degree, and with that, you can still succeed with this one thing, and that is to really dramatically understand what they truly might care about, and then presenting that to them, and then adding personalization so they know it's not a cookie cutter thing. For example, when I went to Matthew Polly, or when I went to Timothy Chantarangsu, both of them, I had very personalized pitches. It was very clear that this was not something that was copy and pasted. With Timothy's, I was like, hey, I remember watching you like 10 years ago when you had like 100,000 subscribers and you were celebrating that milestone, and you did a freestyle rap, and you rapped about Spider-Man bubbles, because you had like a little bubble set going with bubbles, and you did a whole Spider-Man rap. So that was really, really personalized. But on top of that, I added value that I thought would really care about. I've seen him in a few previous videos really trying to inspire, help, and guide Asian American men. And because of that, I came to him and said, hey, I have an audience of a lot of young, ambitious Asian American millennial men, students, and they could really benefit from your knowledge and inspiration through my podcast. And that's how I got him to be on my show. I helped him get what he wants. As the great self-development, motivational speaker Jim Rohn goes, he's very famous in that world. He says you can get everything you want in life by helping other people get what they want. So in the same way, this is very meta, but if you can help other people you're trying to pitch, to whatever you're trying to pitch to do, be on your podcast show, have a conversation with you, become friends with you, whatever it is, you have to help them get what they want. And it's meta because that's exactly what I'm doing in this video. I am helping you get what you want, which in this case is to get other people to do what you want. And to do that, you have to help them get what they want. And so that's that. I would say the biggest issue why people, I don't think, develop in this area is because they don't have intentionality behind it. They're not studying it. And the biggest is because sometimes they don't realize their mistakes. I have seen a lot of people pitch me, and I still said yes just because I was trying to grow my own thing. They made a lot of mistakes, and I don't know if they really realized that when they pitched me. And I think one time one person pitched me because they knew I had a podcast. I was a podcaster, and they wanted me to be part of their personal finance meetup as, I guess, a special guest. And there was a lot of things botched and wrong about the pitch. It was really just like, you should come. And I almost didn't, but I did it for my own reasons, and that's how you can really get ahead. So that's that. As you can tell, I've seen the other end of it, and I am still honing my craft because I have a lot to grow, and I'm actually trying to get to that next level. I want to eventually interview some game changers like Will Smith, and in order to do that, you have to start working on these things. And I'm telling you, it really irritates me when I see a pitch that's done wrong, or one that's just like really botched, bad grammar, blows up on you if you don't respond in like 10 minutes or 2 hours. It's like, really, dude? Have you never been on the internet? Have you never not had someone reply to you? And I think what it is a lot of young people are coming on to this world for the very first time, and they have to get up to speed with how it is and what they will learn, what they have to learn in terms of internet etiquette is that you will get a lot of no responses from people. To assume or expect everyone you message, especially if you're messaging them cold as a stranger, for everyone to respond, and for you to expect to be offended for just one person to not respond, it implies a very big naivete and newness to the internet. And it's not very polite too. It also is indicative of the type of person you are. So keep all those things in mind, and you might start to get some pitches and success stories. And I know there's a lot more info on the world of the internet. If you look for it, there's people even above me who started below me and have gotten some amazing podcast guests on their show. Or maybe they're not even a podcaster. You're probably not a podcaster, but they've gotten a lot of great people on their show. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.